Hey everyone, welcome to our 2023 first spinal workshop titled Goal Setting. I'm Dr. Ryan Weaver. Tonight we're going to take a few moments to dive into some strategic ways to set up for success. We are going to go over about 4 things I have listed here of what we see when we do set goals. And I don't know if you're anything like me or not, but I love having like a to-do list or a checklist. For me, when I can cross something off in order and knowing that I'm accomplishing either a daily task or what my goals may be. So, as I said, this is our first spinal workshop of the year, and I picked this title, Goal Setting, because this is the time of the year where you see a lot of New Year's resolutions, from health goals to nutrition, exercise, and even getting more specific. So, we see these health goals, but few of us really understand what health is. And, on Google's definition, health is the state of being free from illness or injury. So I believe it was our previous 2 spinal workshops, I talked about this, and one of the other definitions that we heard of health from the World Health Organization is health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. The enjoyment of the highest attainable standard of health is one of the fundamental rights of every human being without distinction of race, religion, political belief, economic or social condition. Informed opinion and active cooperation on the part of the public are the utmost importance in the improvement of the health of the people. So, keeping health as our primary attention to what this goal setting workshop is about, let's dive into this. So let's make this really big. We talk about health, whatever that may be. Typically it's weight loss, or you're going to get more to the gym, or maybe certain foods you're going to try to avoid. But really health is the difference between life and death. When we make it the big picture, that's what it's about. We do these things to be more healthier. So when we break that down, life and death, life being movement, good, alive, health, wellness, the quality that distinguishes a vital and functional being from a dead body. Vitality, the state of being strong and active. Energy, the power of giving continuous of life and present in all things. Where death is stagnation, inactivity, permanent ending of a vital process in a cell or tissue. So, knowing these definitions, again, when we play this to the extent, we're not promised tomorrow. We're not promised the next 5 minutes. But when we continue to put things off, hey, I'm going to do this tomorrow, I'm going to do this next week, it becomes less and less attainable and less important. So we have to just stop. Stop with that thinking. When we look at what we do as chiropractors, we study health, alive, wellness, vitality. We need to start your health journey by having your spine checked. Communication is the most important thing in our health. If our body can't communicate with itself, then issues arise. Symptoms eventually show up. And just not only musculoskeletal ailments and symptoms such as headaches, neck pain, and low back pain, but other things that we see. Chronic fatigue, trouble sleeping, energy loss, heartburn. In kids, you see colic, constipation, things like that. So again, when we look at how chiropractic helps the spine, not just from a pain standpoint, but the improve of function of your body. So I mentioned that we're going to talk about 4 things when we're looking at your health goals. Okay? So most commonly people have heard this called SMART, an acronym for SMART goals. And in breaking those down, the S for specific. So you need to know exactly, what are we looking to achieve? Okay? Is it measurable? How do we measure this progress? How are we achieving the goal or are we not? Is it an achievable goal? If we make something, I kind of go 2 different ways on this. Achievable yes, you want it to be something that you can attain, but then there's also, well, if you work 10 times as hard, you're going to get 10 times further than you thought you would, which in the long run is better than where you are at the present day. Realistic. So achievable and realistic to me are very similar. And then the last one is time. We need to set a time frame, because without an end or without that time frame, it may take us a year to achieve something that you did in a month. I heard a quote, well, if you give yourself a week to figure out to do something, you'll get it done in a week. Now again, it comes back into, well, is that realistic? Becoming an astronaut from high school, probably not something that happens in a week. You got to make that, again, realistic, but set up, are they short-term goals, are they long-term goals, and things as such. The second thing that I listed on here is take massive action, kind of coming back to that 10x or 100x, whatever that may be. Take massive action. Just don't fiddle with it. Make it a priority, and then go after that. Accountability. I love having a team, a coach, somebody that can hold you accountable. The more that you have that, even a family member or a friend, have somebody to either check in with on a regular basis, or somebody that can also look over your goals and say, hey, we're ahead of schedule, we're behind schedule, wherever that may be. All right, so you heard me mention when I started this about crossing things off a to-do list or checking a box. That's actually releases dopamine, which is the feeling of pleasure, learning, or motivation. So the act of crossing something off, you do that over time, and you're going to start to get that release. The fun fact, neuroscientists actually call this self-directed learning. So I'm a big fan of writing things down. Another way of doing this, our phones nowadays, you have checklists, you can come up with apps that also do the same thing. So depending if you like writing things out in paper and pen like I do versus on a phone. Number 4, no shiny object syndrome. Researching this, and again, every year I revisit these. I like this one. Complete the goal that you're set out to. Stop changing to the next thing or the next thing and the next thing. Achieve that goal, recalibrate, re-engage to the next goal, and so on. Versus you're over here achieving this goal and you're halfway there, and then you find a new one. Stick to the one that you're going after. So, in closing, and my call to action for all of you is to make health, true health, a start of the new year and the most important thing. Because without health, we don't have life, we don't have movement, and we don't have motion. Your spine is the most important thing. You hear this for the next year to come, that the most important thing is our spine. Again, I look at this in terms of in a vitality of the important things that we need. And really, when we break those down, I break them into these 5. Food, nutrition, those are important things, big thing this time of the year. But food, theoretically you can go 2 to 3 months without eating. I don't advise that. You can make that. Sleep, 3 to 4 days, you really start having a lot of disruption in the body. The max that somebody has ever went without sleep, I think hours-wise, it was 264 hours or 11 days. Water, 3 days. You can't go more than 3 days without water. Oxygen, that's about 4 minutes, and then you start seeing some loss of function. But the number one thing is your nervous system. The nervous system affects every aspect of health. Thoughts, memory, learning, and feelings. From movements, balance, and coordination. Senses, how your brain interprets hearing, what we see, what we touch, what we taste. Our heart, our beating, our breath, those patterns, digestion, hunger, even body processes such as puberty. This complex system is the command center for our body. And again, I question, when was the last time you had your spine checked? When was the last time that we thought, how are we going to take care of our spine differently? until we had something such as neck pain, headache, or low back pain. Your nervous system is a vast network of nerves, like an electrical system, throughout your entire body, from cells, glands, and tissues. So, in this goal-setting spinal workshop, choose movement, choose life, choose vitality, and have your spine checked. Set these goals that you have upcoming. Make them SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and set a timeline. Set short and long-term goals, and then stick to those, check them off. So that wraps up our goal setting. Next spinal workshop, we're going to be talking about half hour to health. One of my favorite topics, we do this frequently throughout the year. It's the basis of what we do. And then we'll also be adding in the next one after that, nutrition. So in 2023, we have a few things. One, we have 4 spinal workshops a month. We have one every so often here called Open Mic. Open Mic is things that maybe Dr. Jake or myself or even my assistants have seen on maybe Instagram, maybe Facebook, maybe even a case in the office, something that maybe you don't know that chiropractic care can help with. So we're going to try to keep that very accurate and upbeat with where we are as an office and what we see. And that will automatically round out the first month of 2023. The first month. January will be done. So again, we are now fully on Facebook and YouTube, still working on a few kinks with that. But again, I want to give you a library to go back and rewatch this. Again, if you remember from our theme from last year, was the number one cause of death in our country is poorly made choices. Just by setting goals, just by continuing to push yourself and push that envelope of education and feeling empowered, we're going to make that again our mission in 2023. We want you to live your best life, feel fully fulfilled, and thrive. So thank you for being on here. Great topic of goal setting, and continue to start to apply these things. Take care all, and we'll see you soon.